Hey, Brittni De La Mora here. Over the weekend, there was some news making waves. I continued hearing about it. It was about ex-adult film star Mia Khalifa giving marriage advice. It was not good advice, but it caught my attention because I was in the adult film industry for 7 years, but I've since gotten out and I am now happily married, been married for 7 years. But let's go ahead and hear what she has to say before I share my thoughts.
Comparing stats, baby girl doesn't know that I am Tom Brady at this game. Married at 18, divorced at 21. Second marriage, married at 25, divorced at 28. Third engagement, engaged at 29, ended it at 30, but I kept the ring. I'm still keeping Tom Brady on his toes. We should not be afraid to leave these men. We are not stuck with these people. Marriage is not a sanctimonious thing. It is paperwork. It's something, it's a commitment you make to someone. But if you feel like you're not getting anything from that commitment and you're trying, you gotta go. You gotta go. You have to go. I know it's difficult to fill out paperwork and to make appointments and to do all of these things, but this is your life.
Wow. Of all of that, there is one thing that I can agree with Mia, and it is that marriage is a commitment. Yes, you do make a commitment to a person, but it's more than just a commitment, and it's way more than just a piece of paper. It's actually a covenant, and you make a covenant before God at the altar. This is marriage. You're making a commitment and a covenant before God at the altar, and your vows say something like this. For richer or for poor, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. You make a vow before God till death do us part. Now, yes, I understand if there is abuse or infidelity. I mean, there are reasons that one would leave a marriage. But Mia is saying that just because you're not getting in return what you think that you should be getting in return, that you should just leave the marriage. That is not good advice because in every marriage, there's going to be hard times. You're going to have mountaintops and you're going to have valleys. But if you leave the moment you get to a valley, you're never going to get back to the mountaintop. If you run from hard times, you'll never get to the good times. And it just breaks my heart because I feel like we live in such a runaway society, where we just run away from everything that's hard. And I think that this stems from our childhood. I think that there were maybe we weren't taught proper coping mechanisms or healthy coping mechanisms. I've seen parents when a child bumps their head and everybody starts laughing and applauding like, yay, you bumped your head. Like, no, the child is hurt. We should comfort the child and help them process that, yes, their head hurts, but they're going to be okay. Or maybe when you were crying as a young kid and your parents might have said, hey, quit crying or I'll give you something to cry about. See, we were taught to avoid pain. We weren't taught to process pain. And that seems like Mia Khalifa's case because she's saying that when you go through hard times, just run away from it. Just leave the marriage. It's just paperwork. Like, no, marriage is actually more than just paperwork. It is a covenant that you make before God. It's a promise, and our words should hold weight. But nowadays, we will make commitments and just run from them. And if you think that marriage is just paperwork, then why are you even getting married? Because if you think, hey, marriage is just paperwork, then you don't understand the value and the weight of marriage. You don't understand how beautiful it is. And marriage is also very sanctifying. It will bring out the best in you, but it'll also bring out the worst in you. And so when you when hard things are coming out and coming up and, the ugly side of you is coming out and you might just want to run away from this person because you say, they just bring out the worst in me, so I'm just going to run away. But I believe that that's God's way of showing you areas that of your heart that still need healing. And so like God will bring things out of you to show you that you need healing. And it's important that we don't run from those things. Since becoming a Christian 10, 11 years ago, some of my greatest blessings came because I persevered through hard times, because I refused to give up when things got rough. And God was able to continue to bless me and continue to promote me in certain areas. And friends, if you're married and you're going through hard times, I just want to encourage you to persevere. Get the help that you need. Seek wise counsel. Get therapy. Ask a trusted friend that's been married for 20, 30, 40 years that can speak into your life, because marriage isn't for the weak. If we're weak and we just get married, then guess what? We're going to divorce every person that we end up marrying because we don't know how to face hard times. And so if you're, tempted to get divorced because you're going through hard things, I would really encourage you to learn healthy coping mechanisms, learn how to stay committed in the hard times, because if you can stick through the hard times, you can get through. If you stick through the hard times, you can get to the blessing. I just want to encourage Mia Khalifa as well. Like, I have been a product of going through engagement after engagement. I've only been married once, but I was engaged twice, and I broke off both of those commitments. And I know now that I wasn't in a place to even be engaged because my heart had been hurt, but it hadn't been healed. And because of that, when times got hard, I did run away. But also, I look back at the people that I picked, and they weren't marriage material, but I also wasn't marriage material because my heart wasn't healed. And so there was a lot of dysfunction in the engagements, a lot of chaos in the relationship, and that's because I wasn't in a good place. And I always say 2 broken hearts won't make a whole heart. And so if your heart is broken, you're going to make broken decisions. If your heart is broken, you're probably also going to attract a broken-hearted person, because you always subconsciously attract who you think you deserve. And so if you don't recognize your value, if you don't recognize your worth, then you're not going to be able to attract somebody who is going to be able to love you properly, because you probably also don't love yourself properly. And so I'd really encourage you to get your heart healed. Surrender your life to the Lord. Like, He can show you how valuable and how worthy you truly are. And if you are contemplating getting married, or you are maybe engaged and you want to get married, I would really encourage you to do the hard work before you get married. Go to marriage counseling. Get your heart healed before marriage, because marriage, not only is it sanctifying, it is a magnifying glass. Everything that is going on in you is going to be revealed in marriage. And so it's so important that you have the conversations with your future spouse about your past, about whether or not you want children, about maybe some pain or trauma that you are holding on to. Because if you don't talk about it now, it's going to come out in marriage. And if it comes out in marriage and it was things that you were hiding, those are other reasons why you might be tempted to run away from the marriage. You have to have the hard conversations beforehand. Before getting married to my husband, I actually, even before dating him, and coming out of the adult film industry, I took a year off of dating because I wanted to grow in God, and I wanted to get my heart healed, and I wanted to understand my value and my worth. See, before my heart was healed, I settled in relationships. But once my heart was healed and God started to reveal to me how loved I am by Him, I refused to settle for anyone who could love me any less, or who didn't see my value or didn't see my worth. And so it's like, when your heart is healed, it's like your heart becomes pure. And when your heart is pure, you start to see things more clearly. And so I was able to see who was for me and who was not for me. And so I'm so glad that I did the hard work. And then in dating my husband, we did go to premarital counseling, and we prayed and we fasted and we asked God to reveal to us maybe areas of weakness that were in both of us, so that we could deal with those things before marriage. And so marriage is not a game. It's not something that you just jump into because, hey, I could always get annulled or divorced if it doesn't work out. Marriage is a big decision. It is a life-changing decision. It's a beautiful decision if you make the right decision to marry the right person, but you should be looking for a person who possesses traits that are you should be looking for a person who possesses commitment. You should be looking for a person who can deal with hard times, somebody who has conviction, somebody who's not going to give up when times get tough, like somebody who is like a wholehearted person that's not like totally struggling. They're not struggling with porn. They're not struggling with lust. You know, that you want to find somebody who's on the right track, who is comparable to where you are in life. And hopefully, you know, you have a whole heart so you can attract somebody else who also has a whole heart. But anyways, marriage is a big deal, so don't just jump into marriage with just any person. Really do the work, really pray, really fast, so that you can marry the right person. Because when you do marry the right person, marriage is beautiful. There are hard times, there's mountaintops, there's valleys, but it's something that is so beautiful. And so I would encourage you to really like take the time to invest in the dating process and invest while you're engaged to make sure that this really is the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, because you can find that person. That person is out there, but make sure that you don't settle. Don't settle, because if you don't settle, then you're going to make a decision that's going to last a lifetime. Hope this video has somehow blessed you. Make sure that you comment, like, subscribe. I want to hear your thoughts as well. Like, what do you think about what Mia had to say about marriage? What do you think about what I had to say about marriage? Comment below. Love you guys, and I'll see you in our next video.